in general, you guys always get it beforehand, and I'm like
4 to 6 months before we get anything.
There was so much. There was so many times that I ordered something online, but I wouldn't get it till 6 months. But I can see
all the reviews.
You guys doing it in the States. I'm like, yeah, I already got this. I'm like, what? I haven't got. It hurts. It hurts. It almost makes me want to move to the US, bro.
Welcome to another episode of The Clever DJ with Ilya
and Nino.
Happy Canada Day, everyone in Canada.
Happy Canada Day. As you can tell, we have our swag on.
It actually works with our colors.
Exactly.
We're blending in with our table.
What's his name again?
I don't know. We didn't give him a name.
Henry.
Jacques. We found the name Jacques. That's the closest thing to duck. So
Jacques.
Call him A the Duck.
Jacques the Duck.
So,
this is a special Canadian episode.
It's another special episode, yes.
We are
every
special.
Time.
We are very special.
Super special. This is our Canadian special. This is Canada Day. We went to the dollar store and we made sure to equip this.
We splurged on the dollars.
We splurged. That was actually from. This was actually from Walmart. This was not cheap. When it used to be actually. But
you like the colors? It's all matching.
It's all matching.
Matching with our background.
Everything. It's actually everything. It's the same color as the tablecloth.
I think we should just keep this.
I was thinking, but I don't know. Maybe. It's definitely good for today. It's really matching everything.
All right, so you can talk. I'm going to play with my.
Yeah, you were so.
I love this thing.
The whole time I'm walking behind you in the dollar store, and you're like just waving it around. I'm like, this guy is has zero self-awareness, or he's just enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm a kid again. I feel like a kid again. For those of you just listening on Spotify, I'm just playing with a windy. One of those toys that spin around.
Yeah, you can put it in your lawn too.
Yeah.
You can actually take that with you. That's from me to you.
Oh,
yes. I think I'll feel way better.
So sweet.
If you take that home.
I love
it. So today, because it's Canada Day, we're gonna do some of the main differences for wedding DJs in Canada. So the differences between being a DJ in Canada and in America when it comes to weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what it's like to DJ a wedding in America and what it's like to DJ a wedding in Canada in terms of some of the main aspects. Now, it wasn't easy to research this because some things seem to be a sure thing on some websites and on some threads, whereas somewhere else it was completely dismissed as not being a fact or not being a fact anymore. So in some states it may not be very accurate. For example, the price of DJs. I'm just going to jump ahead and just say that as an example. And also, stuff like Stag and Does, apparently it's only a certain culture just in Ontario, or mainly in Ontario, not all of Canada. So yes, there are some nuances here and there. We're not oblivious to that.
Yeah.
But let's just have fun with this and see what are the main differences. So first one, you go for it.
Well, Canadian weddings are most definitely longer than U.S. weddings. And I know this for a fact. Canadian weddings usually start at 5 p.m. Well, the reception starts at cocktails will start at 5 p.m. and then go all the way to 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, depending on the venue. But then you're not even thinking about the ceremony, which starts earlier sometimes. Sometimes it starts at 3, so you have to take into account your setup time, which is another 2 hours. So you're starting at 1. So sometimes we're out there for 12 hours.
Yeah, you get there between 12 and 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And
first one's there, last one's out.
For real. Even the photographers, like the videographers leave kind of like in the middle.
I always envy the videographers and photographers. They're like, "What time are you guys here?" I'm like, "We're done when the dancing starts." I'm like, "Oh, I'm just starting when the dancing starts." Right? It's tough.
I don't get why people don't keep in some weddings, they do keep them for a while longer.
Some weddings.
There's no way that I'm not keeping my photographer and videographer with me until everyone is gone. Right? I mean, I want this documented. That's my wedding.
I think they're trying to just save on, expenses,
Not
right?
saving it.
They're probably keeping them until like maybe 30 minutes into the dancing, and then
I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
In Europe, it's not like that. You're gonna have pictures and videos and the whole shebang from before to during to after the wedding. Like it's pictures, videos, all that stuff is really important to us.
Yeah.
So so I actually want to touch up on that because I was shocked when you told me how long a U.S. wedding would last normally.
Normally, yes.
Up to 6 hours, 4 to 6 hours,
And
right?
that's long already.
I actually have a breakdown here. I have a breakdown. I'm going to read it from my phone. There was one here. You talk for now. I'm trying to find it.
So basically, U.S. weddings. Why am I not in the U.S. right now? I always think this. I'm like, you guys, your dollar is a lot higher, and you guys just shorter times of working, right? So I'm like,
Look at this.
like,
So
what's up?
I'm gonna read it from the actual website. It's from some blog, Event Active. I'm sure how to read it.
Yeah.
Okay, so most weddings don't last more than 6 hours. That includes time for the ceremony, reception, photos, and any special activities. Usually, the ceremony lasts about an hour, and the remaining 4 to 5 hours are saved for the reception. And then, it writes, you can read here the breakdown. Cocktail hour, aka picture time, 1 hour. Dance and speeches, 30 to 45 minutes. I wish. Dinners and dessert, 1 hour. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Double, triple it.
In the States, it's all bang, 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 bang. Everything has to be on time because they're strict on the times there.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm sure a lot of you guys from the States are listening. And
actually, a third of our listeners are from the States.
Yeah.
I was actually quite impressed because I thought it would be mostly Canada.
Mostly Canada because we are Canadian
Some UK,
right?
but we have quite a few from the UK, US, and Australia.
Australia.
3 of the biggest demographics we have, as well as Canada.
Not bad.
So I would say a fourth, not a third. The fourth is from the US.
You know what? You guys have 2-hour dance floors too. I'm like, what? 2 hours? I can just go all out, just bang, 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 and just
as a DJ.
That's
awesome.
That's like a dream.
But as a guest, I like the long weddings. I enjoy it.
Well, it's nice to have short dance floors because you leave them wanting more, right? Especially because here in Canada, the dance floors are usually 4 to 5 hours. At least, so you're doing the long, or you're in it for the long
5
haul.
hours?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, it starts at like 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
ends by 1 or 2 a.m.
Ends by 1 or 2. So you're there. You're taking them on a journey, literally, right? Up and down, right?
Yeah, weddings here are just a big.
They're a different animal. Yeah, you got to be a really good DJ to keep them on the dance floor for the whole time as well, right? I'm sure. Other Canadian DJs will agree with me, right? Here you are.
Yeah, so you wrote here 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. technically, but that's sometimes you do the ceremony, sometimes you don't.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah. You know what? Let's yours truly here actually I was a bartender and I was also a waiter in weddings before I became a DJ because that's how Nino and I met.
Yeah.
And it was probably around 2 or 3 p.m. when we were starting, to come out with the food. Sometimes that's how early the cocktail hour could start.
Yeah.
3 p.m., 3:30, not 2, and then usually, like you said, around 4:30, 5 p.m. And then sometimes not, it wasn't very rare. It would last about half an hour to an hour longer because there's so many people, and we couldn't get through everyone with the cocktails, with the food, right? Hors d'oeuvres, right? So you don't even go into the hall until like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
7 or 8 p.m. Then the speeches start. That's 2 hours. 2 hours of speeches on average, an hour and a half to 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
You're lucky if it's done within 45 minutes to an hour. That's almost unheard of.
No.
And then in between, you got to do the food, you got to do all the courses.
You got to do the dances too as well, right?
Yeah, and then the dances, yes, of course. And it just, I feel like it's so much harder for contractors, like the caterers and everyone else to everyone's under so much stress. Because in the kitchen, I remember the chef was like, "Oh man, they're going like on and on with these speeches. I gotta get this food out."
I know your chef back in the day was very picky, like when the timing has to be right.
Well, he was right, but also he had an anger issue. Everyone knew that. If he ever watches, I don't think he will. He probably call me a prick, but that's his whole problem. But it's funny because like. I understand him, but the level, like he got so angry, like he would start swearing and he would start just explaining how the coordinators don't know what they're doing.
They call it passionate. He's very passionate at his job, right? Yeah.
That's what you call it because you didn't work with him. So yeah, he literally is almost not allowed to stay anymore on some weddings because the staff already tells him go home. We can't work with you, right? Like you're too much. So he knows and he takes his time off. Yeah, I know them, I know how things go there still, but I don't work with them anymore. So it was fun while it lasted. But yeah, I was trying to think, would it be easier to have a shorter wedding or a longer one? I'm trying to think because there's so many different factors. Technically, if it's longer, you have more time to get things done, right? Are you good there?
I'm good.
I think my tape work was pretty.
Yeah, good job, man.
Pretty good. Yeah, the flags might fall off. They won't fall off. Don't worry about it. But yeah, when you have more time, when you have more time, I don't see how that would be harder. But then certain things can get complicated.
It can. I think when you have more time, there's more leeway to do things. But when you have time constraints, it's a little harder. I would think, right? Especially if you have to stay on time.
Yeah, I think it's just more frustrating for people who are waiting for a specific moment of the wedding, right? Which is usually the food and or the dancing.
Yeah, exactly.
And the drinking. I don't know what it's like in the States. I actually don't know. Do you know about the open bars and like how they close the bar, or even if it's not an open bar?
I don't. No, not really. Back in the day, I heard it was more. It was an open bar, but that was before. So I'm not sure how about
most
now.
Of the older comments were like that.
Yeah. So, but I think it is more open bar now.
Yeah,
nowadays. So
like 75 to 80% of the weddings people go to are open bar, even in the States. Here, I think it's like 95%.
It's even higher.
The only non-open bar weddings are religious weddings where they're not allowed to have alcohol.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dry weddings. Usually.
Yeah. So, but during the speeches and also when the food comes out, while the speeches are going, like the salads, the first course, they usually close the bar because they don't want people to get up and go back and
exactly.
People get antsy.
Usually they line up for drinks
but they have kind of like they make a compromise. They're like you have wine on your table.
Yeah.
So, I think one event they also had whiskey on the table.
Oh, that's wow, that's jackpot right there.
So this way people weren't actually that as pissed off. But yeah, I guess having a longer wedding is better in terms of planning things around.
It is. Yeah. It's not great for the vendors, right? They have to work longer hours, but as in terms of logistics, I think it's there's a lot more leeway for longer weddings.
So just to summarize, and this is the biggest point, so that's why we're still talking about it. But just to summarize, Canadian weddings from 10 to 12 hours usually, at least, yeah, and about 4 to 5 hours of a dance floor, and the speeches expect to be sitting for about an hour to an hour and a half for the speeches, and very often they're not very interesting. But sometimes they were like super funny, and there were like a bunch of actors. One of the and writers.
Yeah.
One of the weddings where we met, and it was extremely interesting to like. I was like, let this keep going, like let the show go on. I was loving the speeches,
especially when they can crack jokes too.
They were amazing.
I love those.
I actually didn't know that. Sometimes U.S. weddings start dancing before dinner. You said that?
I've actually did that. I did wedding back actually 2 years ago. I did a wedding and we just started dinner, and then the coordinator said, "Okay, let's start the dancing." I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "We're gonna start dancing?" "Yeah, just to warm them up and then get them dancing already." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So. And they were up for it. I started to. Sometimes you have to build it up.
Were they?
Right?
Was that an American couple?
I think so. They might have been.
Yeah, but apparently, according to what you wrote here, in the States, that's common.
In the States, it's common. It's more common.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
But yeah, let us know if you guys have ever done that, or if it's common in your area.
Yeah, if you guys are watching our podcast on YouTube, comment down in the comment section and let us know, is anything here different in your state, or are there certain points we did not touch on? What we would love to learn.
Yeah.
It was not easy to find this information, to be honest. What else? Okay, that is.
Okay,
this one.
This is my gripe.
Yeah, same here.
This is, oh man, this hit me like really close because I'm so jealous of American DJs, especially when it comes to gear, DJ gear, especially when it comes to controllers and stuff, because you guys get it first.
Yeah, you get it first.
You get it first. I'm like, why? That's not fair. We don't get it till sometimes 6 months, 8 months. Sometimes it's a supply issue, especially when COVID was around, right? It was normally, and even you guys in the States had problems with getting stuff. But in general, you guys always get it beforehand, and I'm like
4 to 6 months before we get anything.
There was so much. There was so many times that I ordered something online, but I wouldn't get it till 6 months. But I can see
all the reviews.
You guys doing it in the States. I'm like, yeah, I already got this. I'm like, what? I haven't got. It hurts. It hurts. It almost makes me want to move to the US, bro.
But one good thing is that I get to kind of watch the reviews and kind of learn about it.
You get to learn about it before we actually get it.
Yeah, make an informed decision.
And that's the thing. I want to do the review on it too as well. So, but
I know you love your reviews.
Yeah, I do. But that's my gripe. It hurts that. And then there's a store here in Toronto that
a big one. We get all of our stuff.
We get our American stuff. That we can get it earlier.
Oh, you're talking about that one. Okay.
Yes, that one. So I go to that one instead of the other one, which is strictly Canadian.
They have American stuff too.
They do, but they mostly push, of course, the Canadian products, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a Canadian company, Canadian brand, right? So, it's very rarely readily accessible. So I like to get the American stuff though, because that's the stuff I kind of want. So I go to the other store. It's my go-to store here. I'm not going to say the name, but it's just the way it is, man. I wish we had better channels of ordering stuff, but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So what else do we have here? EDM. You read that one.
EDM is more widely recognized and appreciated more in Europe, which is like the Netherlands, Sweden, Germany, generally than the States and Canadian counterparts. Now, even though that house and EDM was actually born in Chicago, is actually made there, it's more widely. It's just bigger in the European countries, and you know this too for a fact.
EDM was huge where I'm from, but here in Toronto, it's
It's big too.
There's a huge community for EDM. Huge.
There is, but that's just now.
Yeah.
Right. In Europe, it's always been like huge. Right?
Yeah. Ever since the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long are their dance parties, man?
Oh, man.
It's like all-nighters, right?
6 hours, 7 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes 8 hours.
Crazy. And it's sometimes during the morning, you get, people come out at the morning, right?
So you would start around probably, I was going to say 9, but no, wow, I haven't been there in so long. In the evening, early evening hours,
Yeah.
7 to 8 p.m. you would start
Yeah.
until 1, 2, 3 a.m.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine a DJ, like how much work that is?
And is it just one DJ usually, or just a couple?
Usually it's one DJ, but we also, DJing, at least where I'm from, is very kind of involved with the crowd in terms of like they'll come on. Some DJs are also like performers, like they'll come on the crowd, amongst the crowd, and like start dancing with you.
Okay.
And
You're talking about weddings now.
yeah,
Talking about weddings.
we're still speaking about weddings. Yeah, so they'll come on the dance floor and they'll dance with you or like do some kind of show or whatever.
Very
right?
interactive, right?
Yeah. Often there's like dance crews, like doing professional dancing just to
Nice.
put on a show and stuff like that. But yeah, it's very different and no speeches.
No speeches?
No.
No way.
Zero speeches. Zero speeches. At least
No speeches, and then 7-8 hour dance floor.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty much. So you eat the whole time and you dance the whole time, whatever you choose to do.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Some, in some people might say something, but like generally there's no speeches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? Oh, this is a big one. And that's what we spoke about earlier. It depends on the state. Like Mid-Atlantic is usually that's where we're like jealous of that part because that's where like around New York and the area.
New Jersey is really
Yeah.
big for high-end weddings.
That's where you guys make the big bucks. So pricing is different between US and Canadian DJs or companies. An average wedding DJ in Canada will make $1,200 to $1,500 Canadian dollars for a standard wedding, while the same wedding in the US with less hours, way less hours on the job, will charge from $3,000 to $4,000 and up. But this also depends on the state. So yes, we said
Yes.
New York, New
Jersey,
California, DJs, Texas, etc. And they demand a higher price point because of higher volume and overall demand. Now, again, I went over Reddit. A lot of DJs said we don't make more than $2,500 for a wedding. It's still $1,000 more than we make here.
And think about it.
It's much shorter.
Your dollar is a lot stronger than ours too, as well.
I actually we went on a date for Valentine's Day. Not Nino and I. My girlfriend and I.
Oh God, no.
And we just sat by this couple, and I forget where I went. I went for a moment, and then when I come back, my girlfriend made friends with them, and she's like, "Oh, meet so and so." I'm sorry, guys, I forget your names. I have them on Instagram though, and they started telling me how, man, the things they said about Canada in contrast to the US, how like they come here and they feel like it's an extremely cheap vacation.
Really?
Yeah, because of like they said everything is so much cheaper for them. And
Where are they from again?
I forget the state. Oh man,
It was the States. It was a state.
yeah. So they come from the States. Oh man, I can't believe I forget the
cheap?
state. It's actually important to the story.
And
But
this was recent.
this was on Valentine's Day. That was like
this year.
like less than 6 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 months ago. So 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah. So that's crazy. Like they said, everything is much cheaper, and because the U.S. versus the Canadian dollar, right? Like it's it makes sense. But I mean, you yourself just said that the U.S. dollar is stronger,
It's
right?
stronger, but right now everything's really like pricey.
Yeah,
here
but so
in Toronto.
but they're not here to buy a house.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you know what? Even then, I saw what a house costs. In my friend used to live in Boca in Florida.
Boca Raton.
Yeah. And for like $300,000, like a few years ago, you would get like something that looks like a mansion.
Yeah, I know. It's not
you wouldn't
fair.
get an apartment here for $600,000.
Prices are
one bedroom.
crazy here now.
Yes.
Insane.
So you make a lot more money in the US, trust me. A lot more money. As DJs at least, you make a lot more money in the US.
For a little time.
Yes.
As well.
We're not resentful at all, we promise.
We're so jealous. So jealous.
All right. 2 more points. 2 more interesting points here. The one we mentioned earlier, the Stag and Doe parties. We mentioned that in the intro. Apparently, I had no idea. Apparently, it's like a major Ontario kind of.
So what Stag and Does are usually like Jack and Jill's.
Yes, Jack and Jill's.
So they people get together for the couple to actually raise money for their wedding.
Through games and stuff like that.
Yeah, and entry fees. You have to pay an entry fee to get in and stuff.
No open bar.
No open bar. You have to pay for everything. So it all contributes to their wedding. So that's pretty much what it is.
Mainly an Ontario tradition, not even Canadian. Ontario within Canada.
Yeah.
Definitely not an American tradition.
Yeah.
So you guys don't have that.
Canadians are nice. We'll help you.
We're just nicer.
With your wedding, pay for your wedding.
You don't have money for your wedding, eh?
No.
No? Okay, I'll get you some money. Here you go.
Here's some money.
Throwing money at. That's funny, man. The first time I ever heard about like a stag, somebody invited me when I just moved here, and I was trying to understand what it was, and I was like, are you for real? And I had no idea that something like that exists. Yeah. So big difference.
And stags, Stag and Jack and Jill's, there's always a DJ there too as well.
And that's the next point because some of the best events are Stag and Does when it comes to like wedding related events. Jack and Jill's, And last one, now that's something you guys have in the US. You, if you're from
very
the US.
different from us, how we work here.
Drinking games.
Yeah, drinking games. And that I know it comes from a lot of the college days, fraternities. Like what is that? Pong, beer pong,
beer pong.
So yeah, for sure, you guys have stuff like that at your weddings. It's popular, I hear.
Yeah, right, so we saw that online. It's not very common at all in Canadian weddings.
No,
right? Like the only drinking game is going to the open bar.
And taking shots.
So that's our Canada episode.
That's our Canadian episode.
Yeah, we did it.
Jacques
the Duck.
Jacques the Duck.
See you next time.
See you guys in the next one, all right?